Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this the show. Well, I guess we're going back in time.
Oh, what's his name? Marty?
Yes, yeah, but it's not a DeLorean. It's an abortion case.
What happened?
I want to read this to people. Arizona can enforce an 1864 law outlawing nearly all abortions, the state Supreme Court says. I'm going to read the article to you folks.
1864.
1864. The Arizona Supreme Court ruled Tuesday that the state can enforce its long-dormant law criminalizing all abortions except when the mother's life is at stake. This case examined whether the state is still subject to a law that predates Arizona's statehood. The 1864 law provides no exemption for rape or incest, but allows abortion if a mother's life is in danger. And they're talking about they want to be able to throw people that are getting abortions and giving abortions into jail for at least 2 to 5 years. From a law that predates before they were a state.
It predates the end of the Civil War.
Yeah.
And that's 1865, the Civil War ended. So that says a lot right there within itself. I mean, you guys weren't even a state. You had a law like this. How are you determining back then what a person could have done with their body at that point in time?
Well, this is also before women could vote too. I mean, how far back are they going to go? They're going to find a law. Well, we have a law here from 1889 where, blacks and Mexicans couldn't vote, so we're going to uphold that too.
I mean, at the end of the day, they do all this at their own peril. Every single election that they've had, I won't say vote that they've had, excuse me, to bar abortion in red states have all failed. Every single time a person's run on any anti-abortion kind of rights, they've lost. Even in deep red counties, they've lost. They've lost Democrat state representative race. I believe it was in Alabama. They lost one here recently based off of that. So, I mean, it's a losing argument. And I hope they do go after it down there. I hope they do run with this and say, this is what we want to do, because it'll be a blue wave. This may be a mole in the Democratic Party. Like, hey, why don't you guys, here's a law, pass this over to the, it'd be a great thing for them to,
I think that's
to run on.
It's a sad state of affairs when you have to go back and find a law from so long ago when only white men had the rule of law and no one else did. That you have to find a law that's so old that doesn't even parallel with what we live our lives today.
So you got to really think about it. I mean, this is what's been going on like since 2016. I mean, It's been going on way before this, but just pushing this agenda of anti-women's rights straight through. I mean, this is what's been happening. You just have to look at even when Trump just here recently came out and had to speak on it himself and say, "Oh, I believe it's the state's right."
Yeah, he said that recently.
Instead of saying it's he's so happy, he touted that he put in 3 Supreme Court justices that all voted to bring down Roe v. Wade, which gave women the right to choose. And so before he was so happy to say that, but then he saw like what's been going on with everyone who's run up against that law. All the electorates who have run up against that law have all lost. All the Republicans have. He knows that he can't run on that this year. It's not going to help him. And when him coming out saying that, I won't say it hurt his evangelical base, because they don't care. Most of them are going to vote for him regardless. Yeah. But for him to say that, what's his name? Lindsey Graham came out and said, "Oh, well, pardon me to the president," or something like that, try to make it sweeten it up a little bit. But we don't believe it's a state's right to choose. We believe that it should be a federal law. And so he's going to have a lot to talk about this year. It's going to help him sort of, because it's going to make him seem like he cares. But all you got to do is just push it in his face, saying that you put in 3 people that you knew were going to overturn this law.
Yeah.
And so.
Lindsey Graham doesn't have any room to talk. Suspectively, he doesn't even like women.
I heard the same thing.
Yep, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
What they call him? They call him something.
Lady J.
That's what I hear.
No, Lady G.
Something like that. It's
crazy. It's a sad state of affairs when we live in a country where everyone's supposed to be free unless, you're a woman and you can't make the decisions. And it's a lot of the women that I see that are saying, "Oh, yeah, ban abortion. You can't even have kids no more." I'm dead ass serious.
I mean,
it's always these old women that went through menopause. Your time is over.
And you really look at it, the people who are voting these laws down in these states are the women. So I really have to say, kudos to the women for at least looking at this and taking it, not looking at red or blue, looking at their own personal rights when it comes to that, because
it's a slippery slope.
It's going to be on y'all.
Pretty soon. Basically, they're just kind of legalizing rape. If Republicans really wanted to push a pro-life agenda, they should make a pro-life agenda. You could be like, okay, we're going to ban abortion, right? But we're going to make it so childcare centers are federally funded. Absolutely. We're going to make it so school lunches are free. We're going to make it so a mother wouldn't have to worry about any kind of cost for her child for the first year. We're going to make sure there's programs for children and mothers so they can succeed in this country.
Adoption programs, everything.
Everything would be funded so the parents and the children that you claim to be pro-life for would have a future in this country, but you don't. You look just like in Mississippi. The governor, he rejected the funding so the kids can't eat for free during the summer.
Wow. Why would Mississippi is 50th and everything, and 50th is the worst.
Because they have the largest black population.
Yeah, they do.
But they don't have black people running their state.
It's either gerrymandered or we're not voting. This is the same thing we've talked about before. We talk about how no one does anything for black people, but I think they're like 38% of that state.
The majority of the state is black.
I don't think it's over 50%, but it's like 38 or 40%. I watched this little graph. It may not be 100% accurate, but it showed like some states are over 30-40% black. How don't you? At the end of the day, if you vote lockstep and you can get 20% of the other people to vote with you, how do you not run your state at the end of the day unless it's gerrymandered? You know what I mean? And gerrymandering is like when they set up districts so that the black vote is cut out just enough people of the black vote so that they don't matter.
Recently, you can actually see that in Florida is actually where they did that. Yeah. They did that so the black vote doesn't count because, if you remember Al Gore, they didn't count their votes when Al Gore was running for president. And that's what actually gave George Bush the win and then led us into a 20-year war.
Yep. That's a huge thing. So once again, we got to get out there and we have to vote. Let's
but we have to vote because right now they're targeting people, and they're
targeting women
and they're coming up. They have these, and someone said that too. These people they're making these laws that aren't popular. Nobody wants the whole country in a whole. If we take it, no one wants an abortion ban. All right. Nobody wants that. Only people that want that are people that are okay with letting other people off with rape
or controlling other people. And they talk about, the government's trying to take over and control you. This is the biggest form of control, to tell somebody else what they can and can't do with their body. You're murdering this. Are you serious?
Women have an issue anyways with that. Because I've talked to women before and they're like, look, I wanted to get a hysterectomy. Is that what it's called? No. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hysterectomy. When I was 20 and 21, the doctor said, no, I don't want to do it because you might get older and want a child. She's like, women are like, I never want a kid. I never want to have a baby. But they still don't even have control over that to get their tubes taken out.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's sad, man. It's sad. It's just targeting. Just like, I want you show me this article and it just blew my mind, Wesley. And I want you to explain to the people about this lavender targeting system.
Well, I hope I can explain it, decent enough so everyone can really understand. But this is a AI-based system that 972 Magazine and Local Call people, I believe these groups have either hubs in the Middle East or something like that. And I know they're out of Gaza as well. And they've been talking about these systems that Israel's using to basically target human beings. These AI systems, these drones, are just setting up like profiles of human beings. They said they set up a profile of over almost 40,000 Palestinian men. They said the people who they felt like were a part of Hamas, who basically fit a profile for being a part of Hamas. And this thing's only really 90% accurate. They saying it's about 9. So 10% of those people may or may not even be involved in this or not. The other 30 or the other 90%, there's a good chance that they fit that profile, which they are involved in it. Basically, they're saying this system is running with little or no oversight. They're basically given 20 seconds to confirm or say no to if they're going to kill these people. But the worst part about this program is it's another program that's called Where's Daddy, that's connected to this program they call Lavender, that are targeting people in their homes with their children. They said they don't even want to find you when you're at a military base or you're doing something nefarious. They want to find these people when they're at their homes. It's easier to find them at their homes, and they're bombing them with dumb bombs, which basically they also said that they don't care if there's 15 to 20 people, and these are low level operatives. It's like a petty officer in the military someone coming to their home and bombing them at their home. Say they live in an apartment complex or something, bombing their apartment complex with a dumb bomb. They said that to kill one petty officer, 15 to 20 civilians can be used as a collateral damage. If they were to find a high level officer, a high level, like someone who runs a brigade or something, they said upwards of 300 civilians are okay as collateral damage with something like that. It's kind of crazy, man, when they've gotten to this point to where, I mean, they said they mostly used this in the beginning of the war. That's why you see such a high level of civilian casualties, because they were just using this system to find, and it was like seek and destroy almost. It's almost like you said, you brought up a movie that.
Yeah. So they used the system like that. If you've ever seen Captain America, the Winter Soldier, they had Hydra, and Hydra was implemented into the system. Their system, but they had ships and they're launching them, and they were going to target people around the world that could be a threat to this system, and they're going to shoot them all up. And basically that's what this Lavender system is. This should frighten, I don't even like to use the word frighten. This should frighten everybody, because once this gets into because it's in the wrong hands now, it's part to use the Gaza cost. That's what they're doing. But imagine that it comes to America. Imagine Joe Biden gets it and he decides, I think all the MAGA extremists need to be terminated in this world. What if Donald Trump got that? He said, I think all the woke folks need to be targeted and taken out. If you don't agree with my opinion.
Or even from the other perspective, I had a friend of mine say that, they're going to look to target people who are a part of, whether it's MAGA or whatever other organization that's a right wing kind of organization. They're saying they feel like they're going to be targeted, but I don't see that ever happening.
No, it's like, both sides could be targeted. I can see their fear there. Think about it. They could look at you as you might be an extremist because you have this kind of view. You use this certain keyword online, and they would just target you and blow you up. And then how America runs, folks. They'll just act like it was a gas leak or something.
Israel, when this was brought up, they denied it, but I guess there was a general at some point in time in the Israeli army last year who did like a video or something talking about how Israel was using AI to be able to spot potential threats. And then, you go into this war because they're saying that it takes too long for a person to, because they say if there's 40,000 people, how many people do you have to have in an office space to say, okay, confirm, when this system can do it within seconds?
It's kind of like the Minority Report. You ever seen that movie? Yeah, the Minority Report. They were like, at some point they could suspect, well, you might commit a crime later on in the future. You might commit murder. You might commit rape from just analytics, and they might just take you out. This is a really dangerous precedent of time that we're living in right now.
They said that this system, they said that sometimes there were even, youth that could have been targeted. Peter said people
because they might be a risk in the future.
They said it was going off of like names like that were alike. It could have been a person's name who kind of had the same type of name as the person who they thought it was, or the same nickname. I mean, imagine what you've been through just in dealing with police officers here. Now you have a system that's a robot that can't really, it's AI. Let's just call it AI, that can't really distinguish between little small nuances that a person might catch. Oh, this person has the same name. Take them out. They said they're using bombs that are just like you said, there's certain smart bombs where they can just destroy a floor of a building. They're just destroying the entire building. That tells you that what's going on with these people, man. That's pure evil, man. Period. When does it stop? Well, okay, hey, we're gonna go protest. They could bomb you when you're protesting. You might want to meet up at a city hall to discuss things that are going on in your city or through the government you don't agree with, and they could bomb you through there. Anybody, no one is safe with this system around. Absolutely. This is actually a New World Order type system. They said that a lot of times after wars are over, what do people do with this? The new systems that they're using, they start selling them on the open market to everyone else.
Yeah.
So this is what's coming. You think that the American government or any other government wouldn't want this? This stops you from having to deal with that's less personnel. Everyone's starting to run into problems for personnel because they run into population problems. We talk about this all the time, but everyone's starting to run into that problem. When I can just set up a system like this and put drones in the air and cut off a third of my military force. Now I don't have to pay those people. Like, think about what you can do with this system. It's crazy, but
yeah, no, that's wild. That's actually, it's mighty terrifying. It's really terrifying.
Yeah. I'm at a point right now. Like, we gotta
think about it. They could not like what we're saying right now and bomb us.
And that's just it. And then say it's a mistake. Oh, we made a mistake. We're sorry. Just like they did with the 7 people that they killed, from World Kitchen. we're sorry. That's not good enough, man.
Yeah.
That's just not good enough. You killed they said there's 30 something. They said there's 33 over 33,000 people confirmed dead, and another 40,000 people are better missing. Said that they just can't find in the rubble. Maybe a person saying, "Oh,
because they disintegrated."
I mean, just say it like this: if I don't know, what they can leave it as right now is, I don't know where you are. Well, you're probably in that rubble over there, possibly dead, and no one knows it until they go through and dig through all this rubble to go out and find you. But yeah, onto a
different topic.
I was looking at Somalia. And which is neighbors with Ethiopia. Ethiopia is the only country in Africa that was not subject to foreign rule. They're pretty much like, I won't say the Haiti of Africa, but kind of along the same lines.
Ethiopia was never conquered.
Never.
Yeah, Ethiopia has the oldest version of the Bible.
Really?
Yeah,
I know that.
And all black folks is in it. Well, they have all the books. There's like hella books.
It gets me to kind of almost thinking, is this part of the reason? I don't know their true geographical lines from the beginning, because in reality there weren't that many geographical lines in Africa. I won't say I know that, but I know that.
Well, Egypt used to be known as Ethiopia also. It's like Egypt is called Egypt over a soldier, or like a general that was in the Roman Empire, and that's why they call it Egypt.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was known as Ethiopia or Kemet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're a landlocked country, and Somalia is their neighbor who basically run their eastern border runs along that's not the Red Sea, is it?
Oh, it's the Atlantic. I got the map pulled up right here.
It's
Arabian Sea.
The Arabian Sea.
Yeah.
Is that the little corridor right there? Where's that?
The Gulf of Aden.
Is that where the Suez Canal runs right along there?
Yes, the Red Sea, and then the Gulf of Aden is where it comes out to.
Okay, so basically, with Ethiopia being a landlocked country and Somalia being its neighbor, Ethiopia has made an agreement. Somalia had in Somalia's southern region, they had a army, a militia kind of broke away from the main government and declared themselves independent, which that's like saying if Texas broke away and America said, you're not independent, but Texas said they were. Not to say that should ever happen, but if that's what happened, and then another country came in and said, hey, Texas, we're going to make a deal with you to use your port. Just so now I'm no longer a landlocked country, when it could have been the fact that Ethiopia may have been funding these rebels this entire time, because they knew being a landlocked country doesn't work for anybody. That means you have to pay someone else to get anything that you need. You have no access to ports. You have no access to, only people that you have access to are your neighbors. So that means if I want to get something that comes from, say, America, I got to pay someone else a tariff to be able to bring it to me. If I want to ship anything out, I got to pay someone else a tariff to get it out there. So that's the hard part about being a landlocked country. And so now Somalia has expelled Ethiopia's ambassador and closed the consulate of Ethiopia in Somalia due to this dispute. And people are thinking right now that this might be turned into a civil war. Not a civil war, but turned into a war. Ethiopia has a very large population. That's one thing about Ethiopia. Very, very large population. They're one of the largest populations, I believe, in Africa. And so this could really turn into a
large conflict,
a serious conflict. I think that Somalia has a few allies because they are on that. They have, Somalia had a huge problem with pirates at one point in time. You call them pirates, whatever you want to call them.
Well, they were pirates. They were pirating. They were stealing the cargo ships, bringing them into a bay. Mm-hmm. And then because they had kidnapped insurance, the people would fly in the insurance, drop it down, then they would let the ships out of the bay. I mean, it was a genius thing.
But it's like kidnapping. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this was like, what, 5 years ago?
Yeah, it wasn't that long. They were doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
It was a good lick for a long time. It was a real good COVID,
they was making good money off it.
It was their version of the, PPP, I guess. But so, and yeah, that's a conflict that's going on over there. I'm hoping that this can be resolved and move on. There's also in Pakistan, 17 judges were sent a pack, including one of their top like federal or Supreme Court judge also received a package with a white substance in it. I guess it was due to the fact that in Pakistan they had a hugely disputed election, like that's been going on all over the world. And right now, I think that they're in a midst of a possible uprising in that country as well. So we definitely need to pay attention to Pakistan because Pakistan is a nuclear country. They do have nuclear nuclear weapons. So that's something that we definitely need to pay attention to. And one more quick thing.
And, what's crazy about the Pakistan stuff is that, we're having all these crazy elections, all these disputes in the world, and people are just really tired of the norm because it's not working. The norm used to be good, but it's not working for everyone anymore.
Absolutely. And one other quick note, wanted to drop in there real fast. India is having its election. It's a parliamentary election. I believe it also is having its presidential election as well. It may be a prime minister. Modi may be the prime minister there. India actually has the largest elections in the entire world. Guess what the number is of people who vote in India?
How many?
968 million. 968 million people are expected to vote in India.
It's a lot of people.
For 543 parliamentary seats. I guess over 1,000 people are running for those seats. What they're going to do, though, because it's such a huge election, they're going to run it in 7 phases, starting on April 19th and ending on June 1st.
It's crazy. A fun fact that everybody should learn here in the world. There's no such thing as an Indian anywhere in the world. There's no Indians in North America, and there's no Indians in India. They're actually, the country was named, it was Bharat, Bharat. It was named India by the colonizers.
By England?
Yes. The natives here the natives in America were called Indians. There's no such thing as an Indian.
That's crazy. I guess I think there's another. They said something else too. I can't remember what it was. I have to go back and look.
Yeah, because the Indians like, we're not Indians. Like, this is what we were before when just the colonizers came in and changed it. So they're planning on changing the name back.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So what do y'all think?
Hold on. Let me wrap up this real quick. I guess they said there's 15 million people are going to be working at the polling station. There's going to be over 1 million different polling stations across the country. The reason I want to bring this up is because we have such a hard time doing this in our country, and these people have over 1.4 billion people in their country.
Yeah,
and they've amassed 15 million poll workers and 1 million different polls. They said they're making sure people can get to the polls anywhere they are in that country. That speaks volumes about where we're at and where they are. They use electronic voting machines. You know what I mean? And they have no problem using electronic voting machines. People do bring up the fact that, we think that it's fraud with the voting machines, but normally it's the people that lose. It's the same thing here. People that lose are always the ones who bring up the fact.
Well, I mean, here in America, if you believe you could win, you let everyone vote.
Absolutely.
And, for me, I've been saying this for a long time. Maybe we should get it out there. Like, maybe we should take Columbus Day and make Election Day a holiday. I think Election Day should be a holiday. They should close everything. Yep. Grocery stores, food restaurants, everywhere should be closed except for the polling stations. Everyone should have a chance to vote. That's America. That's your God-given right as an American citizen. Everyone should have a chance to vote. And if you live in a state where they make it hard to vote and they try to say anything else, it's because they know that their policies and their politics won't win in a real election. Absolutely. And you can question that.
And also one other thing, Narendra Modi is the prime minister of India right now. He's from the BJP party. He's the most. They say that it's crazy. I know you're. That's where we're gonna go. But listen, okay. Anyway,
is R. Kelly in jail?
I don't know. But hey, listen. But they say that he's the most popular politician in the world. He has like a 78% approval rating in his country. He's actually running up against a guy named Rahul Gandhi. I don't know if he's related to Mahatma Gandhi or not, but that's who he's running up against. He's the leader of the INDIA party, and they're looking to usurp Modi's party. But it's not looking too good. I don't think they're gonna really break him down. But at the end of the day, Modi has said that he wants to take his country from being the 5th largest economy in the world during his next term to being the 3rd largest in the world. Right now, they have a $3.7 trillion economy, which places them at 5th. Right ahead of them, I think it's Germany, and then I think it's Japan, and then China, America. And out of that list right there, it's a list of 10 different countries that are top 10. But out of that whole entire top 10 list, the only country that has went backwards in that whole entire list has been China. They're the only ones who actually lost a little bit of their GDP in 2023. So that speaks volumes as well, too. So I'm really looking forward. The reason why I wanted to really bring up China was because I believe that they're going to be the 2nd largest economy and eventually the largest economy in the world at some point in time, barring some type of huge virus or some outbreak happening.
Well, I know. I mean, I remember that general saying we were going to be in war with them, like probably within next year. India? No, China.
Okay.
Yeah.
China's not really in a position to go to war. They're really they're going to be losing a huge portion of they don't want to kill off more of their youth than what they need to at this point in time right now. They're going to need them. They're going to lose half their population in the next 30 years. Half. They're going to go from being, I think they're at like 1.3 billion people right now. They were the biggest, like 2 years ago, they were the biggest. They're like 1.4, 1.5. They're at 1.3 right now or something. And in the next 30 years, they'll be at like 660 million. You know, like they're going to lose like over, because most of their population right now is like a boomer age. And that over the next 30 years.
Well, yeah, because they had that whole law where you could only have one kid.
Child. It messed them up real bad. It's basically got it right now where they're trying to pay people to have more kids. They're like, man, please have more kids. Pretty soon they're probably going to make it a law where you have to have more kids.
Yeah, and then people are like, nah, bro, you ain't got to be in here changing these diapers and listening to this baby cry with his tooth hurting, looking at you all crazy.
And then, we already got a huge they already have a huge jobless problem right now amongst youth, amongst the young people. That's why they don't want it. And then they already have like way more men than they have women in their country. So China's in trouble right now. And I think India is really in a position where they're going to grow and become something pretty big in this world. I think we need to pay attention to India. I think their biggest problem they have is the best thing they have going is their population. They have a young population, but the worst thing they have going is their population as well, too, because you got to feed those people, give them clean water. There's a lot you have to do when you have that many people.
And they're saying that the current weather stuff is going to bring a lot of droughts around.
So,
yeah. So we'll see. What do y'all tell us what y'all think about these topics? Do you feel the NWO is going to happen? How do you feel about India, China, Somalia, and all the stuff that's going on here in America as we go backwards in time? Like, subscribe, share. This is Uncommon Courtesy. We'll see you next time.